Well, delighted to be joined on Friday the 1st of May by James Bisgrove and Ross Wilson, both from Rangers Football Club. Gentlemen, probably best just if we get you to introduce yourself. Ross, I'll start with you. Explain your role and maybe a wee bit of how it's been impacted by coronavirus in the last couple of weeks.
Hi Nick, good evening. I hope you're good. So I'm Ross Wilson. I'm the sporting director at Rangers. My role here is to oversee everything that's going on in our football operation. Working alongside Stephen Gerrard really closely in everything that we're doing at first team. Working alongside Craig Mulholland to really drive what we're doing in our academy. And then working across everything else, whether it's sports science, medicine, our kit, our facility, and making sure that we can be as best as we possibly can be here at Rangers. Keep pushing our boundaries as much as we can. And during coronavirus, that's probably been one of the real positives for us in a really difficult situation where obviously people's health's at the forefront of all of our minds. There's a real crisis across the world. We're aware of that, and we're really mindful of everything that's going on in the world. But what we've been able to do from a football perspective is make sure that we're working really hard on our scouting and recruitment. Stephen and the coaches are working nearly every day looking through lots of different players. The scouts are working really hard to identify and build up our knowledge and our databases across all the different countries that we're working in. The academy programs that we've implemented have been industry leading in my opinion. The work from Craig and the team's been superb to make sure our young players are continuing to develop as much as they can in a very strange situation for all of us. And then medically, sports science wise, the guys are looking after our players really strongly as well. So it's been a strange time, a difficult time. Obviously, more difficult for many people that are in the area that's affected by the virus. But from a football perspective, we hope that we've been able to move things on a bit during this time.
And James, just tell us a bit about your role and how you've been getting on through this period.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. So James Bisgrove, Commercial and Marketing Director at the club. So really responsible for the commercial side of the club, the business side of the club. The ambition really for us is to grow our revenues, and that's what we're trying to do. But at the same time, deepen our fan engagement through our marketing activities, grow our fan base, grow our international brand here at the club, and working obviously very closely with Ross to make sure that everything we do and all the benefit that we hopefully bring through our successful commercial and marketing activities directly impacts the first team and make sure that we give our best opportunity for success.
Absolutely. And of course, for you, James, one of the big things in the last couple of weeks has been season tickets. Club 1872 have been in touch about season tickets. What's maybe some of the background then to season tickets going on sale today?
Yeah, no, I think Nick, it's important to probably just recognise the background and the context. First of all, where the world is, and I think we straight away understand that for supporters and for everyone at the moment, everything is very different today than it was 6 months ago, even 3 months ago. And I think in launching our season tickets as we did today, we wanted to take our time and make sure we did it in the right way. We didn't want to rush into it. And I know that a number of other clubs are on sale and have been on sale for a while, but we wanted to just sit back and kind of monitor the situation. And I think now we felt there was a responsibility on us to start the process. I think we took a number of steps and made a number of decisions within that to make sure we did it in an appropriate manner. So you will have seen from Stephen's statement last night and Stuart's this morning that we've frozen the prices for this season. We've also been cognizant of, again, the situation we find ourselves in by extending the deadline. So we're going to run that right up until the end of June. So giving ourselves a full 2 months. So I think we know that not every supporter will be in a position to renew their season ticket today. But again, we just wanted to provide the flexibility that we could. And again, that comes through hopefully in some of the different options that we put together in terms of payment, just making sure we've got the flexibility there and the choice as well, which I can go on to articulate further as we progress, Nick.
Sure, that's maybe one of the things that Club 1872 were also looking to find out about, the payments and maybe some of the online process this season.
Yeah. And look, what I think is worth recognising straight away in that is the consultation with Club 1872 is really important. Getting the feedback and the questions directly from their members help us take some of the business decisions that we've taken. what we've done is move our process fully online, and I think really that sits within our wider digital strategy. We want to modernize the club, we want to innovate, and we feel that having an online process for season ticket renewals was the right thing to do. And obviously the world has shifted since then, so actually it was the only way for us to operate. At the same time, we want to make sure that supporters have the answers to the questions that they need. So we've got a very detailed FAQ document that's there. We've got our ticket office staff that are behind the mailbox for some of the more specific questions. And then, as I said, there's 5 or 6 different options in terms of payment, hopefully giving that choice and that flexibility, whether a supporter is in the position to make a payment now on a credit card or a debit card or a bank transfer, or if they want to take a little bit more time and take a payment plan over 4 months or 10 months, that's something that we've been able to make available.
Sure. Ross, turning to you, I guess some of the most important people at the football club are the players. Just give us an idea of how they've been keeping in touch with yourself and how they've been keeping fit through this period of lockdown.
Yeah, they've been excellent. Really quickly, Stephen was really keen that there was a strong programme put in place for the players to make sure that everybody's staying fit and working to a training schedule and a training programme that's clearly not natural for anybody, because they normally be with us at a training ground every day. But Jordan Milsom and his team put together some really strong programmes which evolve all the time. All the information's fed back in to the club every day. So that's the natural point to keep in touch. Stephen himself's in contact with the players all the time, as are Gary McAllister, Michael Beale, Tom Coulshaw, Colin Stewart. So we're in contact with them all the time. I've got a touch point every week with some of them as well regarding various things that I probably need to acknowledge at this point as well, as I have done directly to the players already. But when the effects of the coronavirus started to be felt, and we had a chat with the guys about what we were going to do with the contracts and the salaries between the players, the coaching staff, those of us on the board as well. The players were absolutely fantastic in terms of how they led that process, how they integrated and how they understood and wanted to put Rangers first. So that was good as well. So we've kept in touch with them on 3 fronts really. 1, making sure that we communicate everything around coronavirus as strongly as we can. 2, making sure the training programs are really strong. And then 3, just generally making sure that everybody's okay, and keeping in touch with people socially as well.
This is one perhaps both of you can answer, but Ross, I'll turn to you first. The manager referenced the Braga match and his message to supporters last night. Is that the perfect example of how the crowd can not only influence Rangers in a positive sense, but maybe do so in a negative sense for opposition teams?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the atmosphere that second half was quite incredible, but particularly after the first goal, and after Yanis scored the first goal, and I think the crowd could sense that the team were back in the game. And Stephen went on record to say how special Ibrox can be. Yanis had that famous Ibrox baby quote as well. So I think everybody could feel the energy in Ibrox that night, and clearly that's what we want all the time. And equally, there's an understanding that the team have got to provide that level of desire and performance, and the crowd will back them as well. So we all know that. We all know how special a place Ibrox is, and that's undoubtedly the case. That Braga night was a very special one here, and certainly one I enjoyed in my 7 months here so far. It was a special night.
Yeah, Nick, and I would echo that. And I think what that night was probably representative of was the degree of support and degree of loyalty that we were privileged to have within the Rangers support. And we've seen that even from this morning launching the season ticket sales and the response we've had and the numbers that are already coming through. I think it's phenomenal to see. We're extremely privileged to have that fan base, both domestically with the 45,000 season ticket holders, those on the waiting list, all the supporters clubs, but also internationally. We know as far as North America with NASA and down to Australia, and also the global fan base of Rangers is what makes this club very special. And I think it's very powerful on nights like that. And I think we all remember them fondly and look forward to hopefully future occasions in the not too distant future.
I think the other thing that's probably important to say as well that you sometimes forget is when James and Stuart and Andrew and myself walked into the to the away game and met the directors and things from Braga, I think that was probably the first thing they were saying to us as well, was what a special atmosphere you have at Ibrox and in Glasgow, and they were blown away by it as well. So I think in terms of building our identity and continuing to be a really, really strong club in Europe, when those sort of comments are on the lips of the opposition players, coaches and directors and things, can only be good for the club, that people recognise that this is Ibrox a special place, and on a European night in particular.
Yeah, Ross would echo that as well. So, and just to kind of wrap up on that, I mean, previously before I joined the club in June 2019, I was fortunate enough to experience a lot of European football atmospheres from my time at UEFA. From Borussia Dortmund to the Bernabeu, Galatasaray, and I can say that night when you have the crowd doing the bouncy and that atmosphere is, for me, it's unparalleled for anything else in football. And again, it's what makes everything we do worthwhile, and what makes it so special.
You were in a jolly in that UEFA job, just going to these games.
for sure, and yeah, for sure. And James, I'm sure the supporters will agree, there's few better sights than that famous blue Rangers jersey being worn under the lights on a great European night at Ibrox. Can you give supporters any sort of update on retail for the new season?
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. I think, from a wider commercial position, we're very fortunate as a football club to have the partners that we have. And starting there right at the top, you've got 32 Red, who are moving next season into their 7th season as a partner, and that's really probably one of the most successful partnerships in British sport, to be honest. And behind that, the strong support from brands such as Utilita, going into the 4th season next season, Konami, who make the Pro Evolution Soccer game, and a whole host of other partners as well. So we're really fortunate to have partners that support us, invest in the club, but also are committed to engaging with fans. And on the retail situation specifically, what we are in a position to communicate, Nick, is that this season will be the conclusion of our existing kit and retail contracts. So moving into next season, we will have a new partner, as I said, for kit and for retail. And that will really represent for us something very exciting, because it will be a new era for us in the way that we can service supporters with kit and reopen the mega store and all of those exciting things that I know that the football club, the board, all of the staff and the supporters have been desperate for us to do for a long time. So we're in a very good place there, and it's something that we'll be looking to announce more formally in the next few weeks.
Yeah, and for Ross, I mean, it'd be great to see those Rangers players in that new kit. How have they been maintaining their fitness through this period? And is there a plan in place for them should the shutdown extend for another couple of months, say?
Yeah, of course there is. Yeah, Stephen and the coaching staff, and Jordan Milson particularly involved, has been absolutely all over the players' programs, communicating with them all the time. They've all got a program individually tailored to them that they've got to work to. We're reviewing that on a week-to-week basis. As I say, Stephen and all the coaches are in touch with the guys all the time. There's a lot of conditioning elements to those programs. Michael Beale and the coaches have devised some football content as well for the guys. So there's a program all the time. Obviously, the one thing that we've not got at the moment, everybody wants in their life, personally or business-wise, is you want some certainty. And that's the one commodity we've not got just now. We've not got any certainty at all. So we've got to make sure we review the training programs week to week, as we are doing, but the players' compliance and enthusiasm and understanding of the situation that we're all in football has been first class. And working through the programs driven every day by Stephen. He's not a man to take the foot off the gas, and neither any other coaches as well. So obviously we've got to be mindful to give the players a break at some stage, but the programs have been tailored individually around what each player needs to do, and they've been working on them strongly and really hard work throughout this period as well.
Sure, and one thing that's really caught the eye of the supporters, I guess, you've got responsibility for the whole football department, Ross, and looking at the academy, how impressed are you with the way that they've continued to operate and innovate through this period?
I've really enjoyed that from a personal leadership point of view. Craig and I share the same vision for what the academy needs to look like. We've been supported massively by Stephen Gerrard, Gary McAllister, Michael, to all the guys I've mentioned already. Stephen was on speaking last night to our under-16 groups, which was great. Michael's been on. All the guys have been on. Gary McAllister was on last week. I've really enjoyed speaking to all of our academy squads right across the board every week via video calls. Craig's led a brilliant programme. The coaches, all of them, whether you're talking Graham Murty, Peter Lovenkrands, Kevin Thompson, Davy McCallum, Brian Gilmore, Craig McPherson. The guys have been absolutely brilliant at all of the work. Mark Spalding, a new head of the intermediate phase, part of creating really, really exciting programmes. The kids have been great as well, because we've got to be mindful that both for the kids, and they're probably driving their parents mad and knocking over ornaments and breaking windows and things at homes, but supported by their parents, the kids have been great to understand that this is a really, really difficult time and a really different time as well. And I've said that to them. I've been speaking to the kids and the parents that the coaches are coaching in a way that they probably never expected to coach. They probably in their lives never expected to be sitting in their house coaching players through a video with 20 under 16s or under 14s or whatever it may be on the screen. So that's been great, and I genuinely think that the programme that we've put in place is definitely industry leading. There's lots of clubs doing lots of excellent work, but we're really, really proud of that programme, and I know Craig is, and we're particularly pleased at building this one club feel that I really want to create here at Rangers, that everybody's been part of contributing to that. And if there's one major positive out of the coronavirus time for me, it's definitely been that, being able to join up. So much of our work and the academy programme has been really, really important to that.
Absolutely. And James, coming back to you, for season ticket holders next season, can you explain why they've been given a £25 voucher? What's that for?
Yeah, Nick. Thanks. That's really a gesture of the loyalty that we know the supporters have shown us already for the current season and looking ahead to the next season. I think we recognise that there's a high degree of uncertainty at the moment. We don't know with any certainty for what the scenario will be for the current season or the next season. So it's hard for us to put a concrete decision in place or to put a gesture in place and without knowing what's happening. But at the same time, we didn't want to open season ticket renewals, and we didn't want to not kind of recognise that uncertainty. So that's what it is. It's a gesture from the club. It's a £25 voucher if the season doesn't conclude, the 1920 season, that supporters can spend on any club product, whether it be the new membership scheme or our soccer schools or Rangers TV. So hopefully it's a gesture that is, again, just a recognition of the great loyalty that's been shown.
James, one of the big things I'm sure everyone will be looking forward to once coronavirus is over is the 150th anniversary of Rangers Football Club, which will be a fantastic occasion. And as part of that, there's been so many hospitality upgrades planned. Can you bring us up to speed on that, please?
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. I think, the 150th year anniversary of the club, the Project 2022, as we're calling it, it's a monumental milestone for the club. We believe we'll be the first major European club to reach that milestone. So there's a whole host of planning going on behind the scenes, a whole host of activities, events, and kind of working groups that are in place. And one of them is specifically around Ibrox and the infrastructure there. And we've spoken about Edmiston House, and kind of core within that as well is our hospitality experience. And what's driving that is our ambition really is to elevate that experience and to ultimately increase the number of premium matchday experiences that we're able to offer. And I think where we've seen opportunities to do that, certainly in the next 12 months, is the Blue Sky Lounge that will place the Argyle House Suite. And that will be a phenomenal facility, panoramic view of the pitch. And we feel really the pinnacle of hospitality experiences in Scotland, probably wider than that. We've also looked at our Bar 72 and tried already for next season to elevate the package there. We're looking at how we can invest in the experience with our catering partner. We're looking at modernising, digitising the space, whether that be with better screens. And clearly that's a great lounge in terms of the seats as well. So we're fortunate, Nick, that we've got a number of great facilities within Ibrox in terms of the lounges, but we don't want to stand still on that. We want to increase the premium offerings that we have, and we want to add value as well in terms of that guest experience. So as I said, the 150th year and Project 2022 gives us a great platform to do that. And again, there's other areas. If you look at where the megastore is at the moment, one of the opportunities we're looking at is, does that megastore move to Edmiston House if that comes on board with our new retail partner, and then what does the megastore become? Could that become a more casual sports bar option? Because I think we know tastes of hospitality clients range from a very casual experience and, you know, have a drink with your friends and watch the lunchtime game, right the way through to something where you can host clients and you can have a fine dining experience. So we really want to have a portfolio that caters for all of those tastes.
I think as well, Nick, can I just add to that as well on a football context? James used a phrase there that's really, really important to us as a club going forward, that we never want to stand still. And I said before, when I joined Rangers, that the foundations here that have been built over the last couple of years, after the club being in a really, really difficult period that everybody knows, were strong foundations. But I want to really, really push everything on the football side, and I think that's what James is talking about on the commercial side as well, that even when we've got something that we feel is working and it's good, we want to try and push it forward to the next level as well. So I think if we can keep that feel within the club all the time, that we never want to settle for what we've got and we always want to push further forward, then I think that can only be a good thing for Rangers.
No, for sure, Ross. And as you look to push forward and continue to build and improve every aspect of the club as much as possible, how's the current situation maybe affecting your transfer plans for the summer or whenever the window may be?
I think the latter part of your question is probably the most important bit for now. Is as it stands, we still don't know when the transfer window will open. So what I tasked Andy Scolding and the scouting team to do in this period is make sure we've got a really, really strong connectedness to the market. We're building the scouting team up. I want that to significantly move forward, and it has done already, and we'll move it forward again. There'll be some new people join us after we're over coronavirus. The guys on the ground have been working really, really hard. Obviously, at this moment in time, it goes without saying that all of that's been focused around video scouting from games that have already took place, because there's no live football on anywhere. Stephen and the coaching staff have been really connected to that and making sure they're looking at a whole host of players. They've been spending days on end looking through players. But for now, we're just being really prepared. We've been as prepared as we possibly can be for when that window opens. Obviously, the other factor to consider is what the transfer market actually looks like when it does open. One of the questions that's on the tip of all of my counterparts and sporting directors and things across Europe and in England, the Premier League as well, is what the market's actually going to look like when it opens. Nobody knows the answer to that question yet, other than I think we can all safely assume that it will look different to it did previously. Many people think that's a good thing. So from our point of view, there's two main things to consider about the transfer market. Firstly, when's it going to open? And then two, when it does open, what does it look like in terms of transfer fees, players' wages, agents' fees, what the market looks like generally. So there's a little bit unknown just now, but from a club perspective, we've just got to try and be as prepared as we can be, albeit that's difficult without knowing what the certainty is, but there's loads of hard work going on, that's for sure.
We've a question here from the Heart and Hand podcast that I think maybe both of you could answer. It basically says, what are the challenges you face by playing in a league that's not one of the so-called Big Five? I guess both of you can answer that from your own perspectives.
Yes, I think from my point of view, taking the league away, firstly, I think the attractiveness of Rangers in the market is high. Everybody knows who we are. Everybody knows the fan base and the potential of this club. There's a high awareness level of what the journey this club's been on and its desire for what it wants to do in the future again. And that's clear for everybody. Certainly the conversations I have, obviously I've been away from Scotland for about 10 years, and one of the things I've done is develop my network and things in the game. And when I'm speaking to whether it's agents or coaches or managers throughout the game, they're all excited about what's going on at Rangers and always asking us about Rangers as well. And I know Stephen finds that same when he's talking to different managers, coaches that he's played under or worked with, or talking that there's a great intensity around Rangers. Clearly, the Scottish League's not one of the top five. We know that. That's clear for everybody to see. But I think the excitement when I'm speaking to people comes about Rangers as a proposition and what we are as a club. That's always clear to me.
Maybe I'll come in, Nick, just to echo some of those points as well. And I think it's a great question actually from Heart and Hand. And I think the honest answer is, particularly commercially, we do have to work that a little bit harder. We do have to be a bit more forward thinking. We do have to be a bit more creative in our approach to maximise the commercial potential of the club. we are not the Premier League. We don't have the Premier League's broadcast figures. We don't have the Premier League's revenues, but we do have a club with a fantastic global brand, with a great history, with a number of high-profile assets. We play in one of the greatest rivalries in sport. So again, with our international network, that's actually one of the reasons why we've specifically looked at markets such as India, such as California in the US, because we believe there is a potential there for Rangers Football Club to thrive commercially. And I don't think in any way the SPFL Premiership holds us back. It's our domestic league. It's important to us. It's our core, but actually our ambitions and where we see the club is much, much higher than that.
Sure. As part of the commercial strategy, James, what are maybe some of the other areas of focus within the commercial and marketing department at present?
Yeah, Nick, there's a lot happening, and I'm fortunate because there's a great team there that are working on some really exciting projects at the moment. I'll talk about digital first, because we've undertaken a digital transformation strategy, and through the teams that Robert Boyle and David Melvin lead there, we've got a new website in development, and that new website will be best in class. We've partnered with a provider there that will ensure that our web offering and our digital platforms will be the best out there. We'll also have a new Rangers app. We'll have a digitally focused strategy, so we will be data driven in terms of the way that we put all of our different platforms together. We're very proud of some of our content that goes out, whether that be on Rangers TV, whether that be on our social platforms. We know from the stats that are given back to us that the engagement is one of the best out there from any club in Europe, and I think that's testament to the content, but also the way that the fans engage with that content. So we're very fortunate there. There's also a lot of work being undertaken in the kind of the marketing team. So Charlene and Max and Natalie and the guys really looking at the brand and how do we evolve our brand? How do we make sure that it's fit for a modern era, but it's also true to the history of the club, whether that be for communications within the UK, but also, again, touching into that international strategy. On the commercial side, I spoke about some of the partnerships that we've been able to nurture, and there are also a number of new partnerships in the pipeline. So those will be announced in the coming weeks. And again, we've got a great team there that's led by Scott. So I've spoken about hospitality and some of the lounge investments there with Pippa Dixon and her team. So there's a great deal of work undertaken there, Nick. Again, the international strategy is really important for us. We've got Gary Gibson that runs our soccer schools program with his team, and the soccer schools are a great, I suppose, proof point because of the football coaching side of things. So we get to take the model that Ross spoke about and what Craig Mulholland and all the elite development side, we get to take that and work with international partners and teach the Rangers way. And we also get other commercial benefits from that. We're working with our partners in the US, Orange County, at the moment on a documentary. So there are so much happening behind the scenes. We move forward every day. We push the boundaries. We've probably never worked as hard as we are at the moment in this time. But that's because of the ambition and where we want to take this club in the next 1, 2, 3 years and beyond.
Ross, knowing the loyalty and the backing of the Rangers fans that we've spoken about tonight, how big a selling point is that when you're looking to prospective new players and trying to sell, I guess, the brand of Rangers to them?
I think even before you get to talking about new players, I think just the football as an industry understands that one of the hugely significant points of Rangers is the intensity and the atmosphere that our fans generate and the loyalty that those fans have given to this club over a long period of time. Stephen spoke about it yesterday. Stephen speaks about it regularly, actually, coming from the level that he's came at as a player and experiencing that loyalty in his own city in Liverpool, and then experiencing that here in Glasgow is just unbelievable for him. It's a huge factor that's spoken about by our players every day. It's something that's always on our mind for our academy as well, that how do we make sure that players are ready and prepared for that coming through our ranks, because it's fantastic to be an academy player at Rangers working in outstanding programmes we've got, but we've got to make sure players are ready for that intensity of atmosphere at Ibrox, and whether it's a league game or it's European nights as well. And then to take it back to your question, the intensity that our fans bring, the atmosphere that our fans bring, but probably mostly that loyalty that our fans bring. Everywhere we go, they're there in unbelievably big numbers supporting the team, and that's always appreciated hugely by Stephen, the coaches, myself and the players.
Well, James, Club 1872 have asked about prices being frozen for the new season. Why is that? And is it as a direct result of COVID-19?
Yeah, I think the honest answer, Nick, is it's a direct result of the situation that we find ourselves in at the moment, recognizing that people's personal situations have in almost all cases changed, from what they were 3 months ago or even 1 month ago. So for us, that was the right decision to take. And within that, as we've said, we wanted to show additional flexibility, and that's why we've extended the deadline, why we've got the flexible payment options. And also what was important for us was to retain the charity foundation donation, the £2 with every season ticket. There's some fantastic work that Conor and the team there do with the charity foundation, and I know that there are a lot of plans in the development to help those that have been affected by the virus when we come out the other side.
Yeah, and staying on the COVID-19 theme, Ross, hopefully once this is all over, we'll be able to return to some sort of normality. From the club's perspective, from your perspective, it must be absolutely fantastic to have someone of the experience of Dr. Mark Waller leading it from your side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've said a few times over the last couple of years, some really strong building blocks have been put in place, and Dr. Mark Waller is one of those for sure. In the last couple of months, Matt Konopinski's joined us as well to really enhance that medical side. We've got some great people here with us already that have been with us for a longer period of time, and then for others to join us of that ilk's fantastic. Mark Waller's informed all of our decisions around our reaction to coronavirus really articulately, clearly, strongly. He's got fantastic information, comes into him all the time because he's connected to his field really strongly. And equally in the academy, we've had the resource of Paul Jackson doing the same job for us there, giving us great information as well. So, no, we're really thankful to our medical people. We're building a really, really strong medical department across the whole club here. One of the things that I've said already we want to do is make sure that we build departments that serve as the whole club rather than just one part of our club. And our really, really strong medical divisions can only be good for us, and we can feel that at this time because we need to know that we've got that strength behind us, and we certainly have.
Absolutely, and it's often talked about more so the players' physical health, but also, I guess, especially during this period, their mental health is just as important. What steps are the club taking to look after that as well?
Great question. Yeah, great question. We're in contact all the time with the players, so the players have got points of contact that they can discuss if they've got any issues at all. Jordan's been really, really keen on the well-being questionnaires and see if we can flag any issues with anybody. Then they all know that everybody's here should they need to talk. We've built out already a strong psychology division that can grow further in the future as well. I think it's something in professional football that we can do even better than we've done already. I think it's another strong building block that we need to enhance here at Rangers. But that the mental health of the players is certainly at the forefront of our thinking. Within the academy, we've got a really strong player care team, a mental health provision in there, psychology provision in there. And at the end of all of our calls with all our academy players, we remind everybody that the player care team is here to help all the guys. And that's at the forefront of everything that we're thinking about just now as well, because obviously this is a really unnatural situation for everybody, and we've got to make sure everybody's okay as much as we possibly can, starting with really strong communication with them all.
James, we've also seen the launch of MyGers for the first time today.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. So we're really excited and delighted that we were able to launch the MyGers membership program today. That's been a long time in the making for us. There's been a lot of research done there. There's been a lot of consultation for us to develop what we believe is a membership program that's underpinned by rewarding loyalty. There's a number of different options that we've been able to develop within that. So there's a product for a season ticket holder, which will be £40, and there's products for non-season ticket holders, international supporters, those fans that are around that kind of global network of supporters clubs. We've got a package, we've got an offering, a set of benefits for them. And then the aspect we're really proud about is the junior Gers, or our younger fans, and being able to have that engagement and that touch point with those fans. Because one of the interesting things that we find, Nick, in our research is that because of that great demand we've got on season tickets and tickets in general, it's not so easy for a younger fan to come and experience Ibrox for the first time. So the membership scheme will give us a great platform to do that. There's, as I said, there's a number of benefits that we've been able to put together for every single member that joins us. So there will be a personalized membership pack, a card, there'll be official club merchandise that's sent. So we've created a bespoke club scarf that everyone will receive. There's a free access for a month on Rangers TV, discounts on a whole range of club products, whether that be the restaurant at Ibrox or soccer schools. And of course, we've included a ticketing loyalty mechanism and priority on tickets that ensures that the most loyal fans have the best opportunity to get the tickets that are in high demand, whether that be away games or cup finals or European trips. But at the same time, we've been very careful not to create a closed shop, because what we've wanted to make sure is that there's a chance to get on the bottom of the ladder and to increase, if you like. So everyone in the pyramid will have an opportunity to get tickets, but the system that we've created is one that rewards those that are the most loyal and have shown themselves to be the most loyal to the club over a period of time. So we're delighted to get it launched. We will continue to evolve it. We will continue to listen. We're kind of accepting that it won't be perfect on day one. And I think it's important to mention as well, Nick, that we've incorporated the Rangers supporters clubs within that, because they are an important fabric to the club, the fan culture, and there'll be a bespoke membership offering for them, and the ticket allocations that they will continue to receive. So we hope it's going to be well received. We hope it gives that additional touch point. There are going to be some fun things in there as well. There are going to be certain experiences. One of the nice ones we're working on is to have, when we get past the lockdown, to have a training session at Ibrox. I think I mentioned this one to Ross. I think he's approved it and signed it off. So Stephen and Gary putting the players through their paces and inviting the members in to experience that. So just to create those touch points, just to create those engagements, we feel that the membership scheme, the membership program now gives us a great platform to bring all of that to life.
And James, it's the end of the first day of sales of the MyGers membership scheme. Can you just give us an update on how sales, etc., have gone so far?
Yeah, well, as you said, Nick, it's day one. We just launched this morning, so I think we've tried to launch, and we've tried to explain what the membership program's all about as best we can today. And this is just another step in doing that, and that will continue now moving forward. Day one's gone well. We've been delighted with the response. I think we've taken on board already 2,500 members in one day, which is just phenomenal, actually. And to have that response and to have that loyalty is really, really pleasing, and really encouraging for, I think, the future of the membership program. And I think what's also important is not only those members that are here with us in Glasgow and in Scotland, but it's also that global network. And I think that's also what makes this club unique and what makes this club special. We know we've got an international network of supporters, whether that be in the US with NASA, or right the way through to also in Australia and everywhere in between, that follow Rangers at 3 a.m. or whatever time it's going to be on Rangers TV. And we hope that the membership scheme and the benefits that are set up for them, that are really about that access and that digital touch point, but also getting them involved in things that might be a bit more digitally led, like a Zoom call like this with the manager and players. And there's a lot of opportunities there for our international fans as well. So we've taken a lot of inspiration from other clubs that have membership programs, but I think we've done it in the Rangers way. And we hope today's the first day of what will be a really successful platform for us to continue to engage with our members and supporters all around the world.
Let's just wrap up with a few final questions. James, another one from Club 1872. What options do supporters have to get assistance with the renewals, given the ticket office is closed?
Yeah, and thanks to Club 1872 for the questions. I think that their input in terms of those questions that come from the members is important for us. So as we mentioned, we've gone fully online with the renewal process, but at the same time, we know that there are going to be certain questions, there are going to be special cases, and that level of customer service is something that we want to retain. So initially, there's a very in-depth FAQs document that's available, and also beyond that, there's a mailbox, an email customer service platform where our ticket center staff are there to deal with queries or special requests as and when they're going to come forward.
James, one of the ways you're trying to grow the club is internationally within the commercial department. Just give us a flavour of how that's working.
Yeah, no, that's an important pillar for us, Nick, because we we believe that Rangers is a global football club, but there needs to be a proof point for that. And a couple of the great proof points we found has been in the international partnerships that we've been able to form. One over in India with Bengaluru FC, the Indian Super League champions, and I've been out there myself, and there's a lot of great opportunities there through that partnership, whether that be through our soccer schools or some of the commercial synergies that we're looking at through partnerships as well. And the other one that's really important to us is Orange County Soccer Club, and again there we are talking to them about shared digital content. There's a documentary that we're making together, the soccer school side of things, and also almost sharing our networks from a partnership perspective. And I know, Ross, for you from a footballing perspective, hopefully the Orange County partnership and working with some of the individuals there has been helpful and beneficial from the football side.
No, absolutely. I was just going to say that we did a call with Orange County this week, Craig, Andy Skolden, David Stevenson and myself, to really catch up on how that programme was going. We've had 3 of our young players out there on a fantastic development loan this year before coronavirus put a halt to that. We've been delighted with the synergy between the 2 clubs, that's for sure. The United States starts with an under-19 league next year within the USL through Orange County, so we see a lot of potential there as well, and in our scouting and recruitment, as we really want to find as many ways as we possibly can to keep developing our talent for the future, and we see Orange County being one of the key pillars of that. So yeah, James, you're right. The work between ourselves and commercial across the international soccer schools and international partnerships is really important to us in football.
Gentlemen, you're both coming up to anniversaries. Ross, it'll be 6 months for you at Rangers Football Club. James, you're fast approaching a year here at the club. Taking coronavirus out of the equation, has it lived up to your expectations, and how much scope do you see for just continuing to grow the football club as we go forward and come out of this period?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a fantastic 6 months. I must say it's went incredibly quickly. We've got so many things on the radar that we want to do. I think hopefully you can hear that from James and I. We work quite closely. We talk a lot about the various things that we're doing, as we do with Stuart, Andrew and James on the board level. And from my perspective, I'm really enjoying the relationship that Stephen and I have, and that I have with the coaching team as well. It feels like we've got a lot of like-minded people here at the moment who really want to push Rangers forward. We want to keep building on it. As I've said already, some excellent work here. Everybody realises that we're not exactly where we want to be, but we're continuing to build, and we've got real great confidence that we're heading in the right direction, and there's an exciting period ahead. Equally, Craig and I are getting a lot of our ideas across in the academy. I've said a lot that I really believe in that one club feel, which is something that I also believed in my previous club, and I felt it was really, really successful to make our culture and our vision all aligned together. I feel that our first team in our academy are very much aligned now. As I touched on earlier, Stephen, Gary, Michael, been involved in the academy webinars lately has been a fantastic example of that during coronavirus. We're joining up all our work in our medical and sports science teams. We've got so much and many exciting things that we can keep pushing on in our training ground development with, and really make this a club that we can all be proud of. We know the history of this club. We want to create a really, really exciting future. And I've really, really enjoyed the first 6 months so far. Looking to the future, we're really keen to make sure that we never stand still here. We constantly push things forward, whether that be in our academy or our medical and performance or our scouting area. I've set the bar quite high in terms of the expectations that I have for our scouting and recruitment team. We've already embedded a lot of new process. We'll have some new people join us later on, as I said already. But we really, really want to embed all of those visions that we're working with into our way of working. We've definitely got everybody facing in the right direction, all working towards the same goal, which is exciting. But there's lots more work to be done to get Rangers back to where we want to be. But that's an exciting time, and I'm excited to lead that from a football perspective.
And Nick, just to kind of echo that from my side, it's been a year that's felt like a couple of weeks, to be honest. It's flown by. I spent the last 6 years before I arrived in Glasgow, obviously in Switzerland, working on the UEFA Champions League and joining the club and seeing the potential and seeing really where we can take this. And as Ross said, we're working very closely together to have that one club approach. I think we're very ambitious in terms of where we think the club should be from a footballing perspective, from a commercial perspective. And I think what we're starting to do is put a strategy in place and put the building blocks in place to achieve that. So it feels like we're just getting started, but at the same time, we're making some great progress. I've spoken about some of the commercial work. I touched on, you know, what the future looks like from a retail perspective for us, but all the way through to our digital strategy, hospitality, match day experience. There's so much for us to achieve. And on a personal note, you know, I wake up every day energized and motivated to making a difference and, you know, pulling in the same direction, whether it be with the board or the rest of the team. So one year down, there's been a few highlights along the way. The European run, which is still ongoing, was certainly one of them. So undoubtedly there'll be many more ahead.